Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We're back for another podcast with Tim and Justin, and today we're gonna continue our journey down the MRO flow, and
Yep.
most specifically, we're gonna talk about receiving materials. And Tim and I, we live in different probably in different mindsets around this. I come from a really heavy finance and just kind
Mm.
of system process background, and Tim really comes from the hands in the warehouse, making sure you're
Sweat,
doing the
blood,
right thing around
tears.
the receiving standpoint. Yeah, yeah, and but I think that's really, really good and important to talk
Mm.
about, Tim. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go ahead, Tim. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say this is
Uh,
this is interesting because you and I come with different perspectives, and I think this will be a good way to talk about it is how your finance and the back end and what does that mean whether you're using SAP or any other system, how important it is from one perspective, and then I'm on the other end in terms of accuracy and things like that. So I'll let you finish on the finance side, and then I'll come back on like
yeah,
more the physical warehouse side.
perfect. I hear guys all the time, and it's probably something, Tim, you've heard, as you've helped customers through their journey around this. I hear people all
Yep.
the time, listen, man, like, why am I putting things through inventory? It's not really going through inventory, or it is, but why? Why does that matter so much? Why can't I just have this stuff delivered directly to location? In the oil and
Yep.
gas world, guys want it delivered to a well pad or wherever, but I tell them, really, from my standpoint, if I'm leading planning and scheduling and warehousing,
Yeah.
and the supply chain side, my job is to have the right tools, people, and parts at the right place at the right time. So number
Yep.
one, I want to make sure before I schedule those guys to go out and do that work that we have the materials in my hands. Right? You say hand on part, hand on heart. Right? So I want to make sure of that.
Yep.
Um, but number two, there's a couple things that happen on the finance side, right? When I receive that into the to inventory specifically, especially in SAP, it updates the moving average price of that material. So as I'm starting to forecast and plan for future jobs, my plan cost gets tighter and tighter um, down the road, right? So that's so critical when you're running maintenance plan and forecasting things out and trying to do zero based budgeting down the road. It's so
Yep.
critical not to have a price on the plan cost that's 9 years old, right? Something you loaded so long ago because you've
Yep.
never run it through the warehouse. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Tim, tell us about the process side, and obviously we got some lead time things to talk about on the procurement
Yeah.
side and things like that. But tell us your experience on that as well, and I think it'll be I think it'll be really cool for people to see both sides of that fence work in harmony.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is one of these fundamentals when it comes to materials management that people often get wrong because, hey, it's on site. I can worry about the stupid paperwork stuff later. And this is where things
Hmm.
break down. It is so critically important. And one, I want to, before we start, there's two things I want to split: receiving and receiving. Two different things. So like I've seen many warehouses, they get a box and they just receipt it. And they haven't opened it, they haven't checked it to make sure the parts are right. So those are two different steps. First thing is just physically, I've received it, but is it what I've asked for? So you open the box up and you receive it, check it, go through the paperwork. Yep, that's correct. The next step is to receipt it, and that's into your ERP system. And that's important to do timely. I've run into several businesses now that say, oh, we get around to, we do our receipting at the end of the month. So that is,
Ooh,
oh,
ooh,
that creates so many problems. Right away, your
that's a
lead time
disaster.
now, it's a disaster. Your lead times are gone, your payment terms are gone, you've got vendors calling you because you haven't received it, you haven't paid them. And it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna receive that next week.
That's
It's
right.
like, no, that's not how this works. And that piece is this is where all the data gets triggered and the whole point we catalog, whether it's free text, direct charge, or cataloged inventory or bought to order, you got to receive timely, accurately, Scanning the documentation. Ideally, we like to scan the delivery docket up against the receipt because then the purchasing team can see that and that creates less noise back to the warehouse. But really important because that triggers all your lead times, the moving average price, the cost flow into the work order. But more physically, it's now in the system. And your availability reporting says, hey, bing, green light, you can have this part now. So hand on part, hand on heart. So this is one of these fundamentals. I can't stress enough people get this right. Take your time, stress with your warehouse how important it is to receive and receipt parts timely, correctly, accurately, and then locate them effectively.
That's it, man. And as you can see here on our MRO flow, we've talked about receipting, and next we're going to talk about kitting. And this is kind of where you turn into a superhero for your maintenance guys, right?
Oh
Or
man.
your
Yeah, this is
project guys.
another so
Oh
bam.
man,
Yeah, it's a
like
good one.
it takes off and people love it. So remember, receive your parts timely. It starts so many spots of efficiency and
Yep.
process. It is like you've got to receive parts. It is so valuable.
Rule of
So
thumb,
we'll catch you guys on the
within 20,
next. Yep.
well, real quickly, within 24 hours, you got to receipt that. Ideally, the same day
Yep.
it arrives late in the day, first thing in the morning. Within 24 hours, you got to receive parts into your system.
Amen, brother. Well, I love it. And Tim, we'll catch you on the next one on kitting parts.
Getting.
Talk soon, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, everybody. Bye.